I'm just going to go through an example of coursework and exam that came out as a grade level 5 last year. Food art theme, then mind map, mainly visual illustration, showing us potential subjects. And then here we've got a photo shoot, some nice images of fruit there, sort of studio setting, and then some drawing from that photo shoot. So lovely pencil drawing, looking at the pattern and detail, and a little bit of reflection there. So assessment objective 3, really clearly on this page, through the photography, through the drawing from own photographs, and actually the annotation reflection is AO3 as well. Then here, this is AO1, assessment objective 1, because this is developing ideas. We're looking at an artist, Joel Penkman, and here we have got, now they're rather small, which is what I would say is you want to make these the biggest things on the page, but here and here we've got little transcriptions. Yeah, that's it. The other ones are photographs. If it was me doing this and trying to get a higher mark, I'd be making the transcription the main deal. We've got all this empty paper page here. That could have been to fill that, to make it clear. An annotation there. So talking about the artist's own, Penkman's own creative process. Once I have an idea for something, I want to find, paint it, make rough drawings, and take a number of photos. Okay, so this looks like a quote. Yes. Okay. A bit of reflection on the transcription. The reflection's bigger than a transcription. I would say it should be around the other way. Oh, experimenting with a new technique. So this is AO2, so egg tempera. It's actually quite an old-fashioned process. I've never done it, so I can look and learn. So different mixes there, and a little bit of history. And then over the page, more experiments. That's quite a substantial use of colour pencil. And then over here, samples in acrylic paint with reflection on how it's gone. Over here, so second artist, Wayne Thiebaud. I think that's how you say it. And what we got? I'm looking for the transcriptions. Right, I think I can spot two. There's that one. Lovely. Really nice. Why can't it be bigger? It's the same size as the photocopy. Because I want to concentrate on that, really. And then over here, so I think student's own photograph. Yeah, I took myself, and then a study based upon it. Okay. So then what we got? So we got some chalk drawing. Looks like it's possibly from secondary sources, so maybe own photograph of the lemon. And then over here, planning to make something in clay. Okay, so thinking about the different views of it, what would need to be made. And here, now I don't have the actual physical copy with the physical piece with me, but we've got a photograph of it. So you always need to do that as your insurance policy, to make sure that nothing is not included in the assessment of your work. It's all evidence, it's all got to be in your sketchbook or in your project, however that is displayed. Okay, so that looks like that came out quite nice. Lovely glossy glaze. And here we've got final piece ideas. So returning to that photograph of the it's maybe orange now, and experimenting with composition, cropping, overlapping. So that's a nice study. So this is I'll talk about assessment objectives. So on this page with this clay piece, so this is assessment objective 2, experimenting and refining. Here we've got assessment objective 3, recording. So recording possible ideas for that you might make as a final piece. So where do we go from here? So this looks good. Design idea 3. So it's sort of segments, and here we've got a little colourway. It almost looks like the colourway is part of the work. It's got like a sort of interesting texture on it, and some reflection. Analysis of the idea. I'm not planning on using this as my final piece. Oh, I like the look of it. I feel like I can focus on one piece of fruit instead of multiple. I can also add more detail. I also prefer watercolour over acrylic, which is why I'm not using design 1, as well as the fact that there are multiple pieces of fruit like design 3. Well, that looks quite ambitious. So I must admit I'm slightly questioning that justification, because is it thinking that's too ambitious? I would say you probably want to be ambitious in your final piece. But this got a level grade 5. Okay, so maybe that's kind of suggesting to you, do you want to be more ambitious than that? You might be able to, mightn't you? So then what we got here, so this is another project. So I don't have evidence of the final piece in this book, so that is a problem. Where is it? It should be photographed and then in here. So next project, nature mind map. Going into some detail there, some sort of nice collaging. Maybe been on Pinterest or something like that to find some images that they might want to use. Oh, nice. So, lovely page that. That's probably my favourite page so far. So we've got, I think that's stuck down, yeah. That isn't. So we've got, looks like students' own photographs here. They've pressed some some seed heads and flower. And it's saying, look underneath. Okay. I've collected and taken pictures of poppies that, once pressed, have actually turned pink. This is unusual and not expected. So a bit of experimentation there. So this is fabulous. So that is based upon that. And then we've got a bit of annotation about it as well. But we've got, what worries me is this isn't stuck in the book. I'd be scared that this would fall out. A print based upon this. So the pressing has been turned on a piece of plastic. It's been scratched into. So this is the scratch side, and then paint rubbed into it and then pressed down onto the paper. So we've got the print here. I love this. I think that's gorgeous. So this is really good assessment objective 2. You know, best I've seen so far in this book. Excuse me. So nice page that. Very good. Watercolour experiments. Okay, so we've got some cheese plant leaves, some flowers. And here, based on a photograph, student's own photograph, I think. I'm just checking. My inspiration. Not sure. Now, that's a bit of a problem, because this photograph, if you were taking pictures of your cat, you'd probably take quite a few of them. and it would be more reassuring to see a photo shoot. So there's question here if this is the students. But what we've got is a nice watercolour study inspired by it. Turn the page, some more watercolour, and design ideas. We've got something to do with graveyard, cemetery, ghosts, ivy growing up, tombstones. So a range of ideas here. And here, more about maybe surface of the pond, then combined with beneath the surface, pond or sea, perhaps both. I think these are students' own photographs. I think so. And then we've got another artist looked at, Laura McKendry. So a bit of information on the, where's the transcription? Oh, there, that one is. So make it bigger, make it obvious. I shouldn't have to question which is the actual piece that you have done. Make it obvious. It'd be awful if someone just thought that was a photocopy. Right, so this is assessment objective 1 with the artist, finding artist to link to what you're doing. And here, unnamed art, don't know who did it. The idea of working with paper. Paper mind map, so working with paper, bit bare. Do something with those empty spaces, please. This is loads better. Yeah, quality double page there. Own photos, kind of manipulating own photos, drawing from own photos, watercolour, which is larger or just a bit larger than the image, so that's good. So there's a lot going well on that page. So looking at more flowers, so we've got a bit more pressing of different flowers there and drawing from the pressing. So that's quite interesting really, because when you're pressing a flower, you're making it almost two-dimensional from three-dimensional, and then maybe that's made it a bit easier to draw. So that's quite an interesting idea. More pressing there, and then the watercolour based on it. So actually, I sort of understand why this is the similar scale. Kind of makes sense for that. So assessment objective 3, assessment objective 2 going on here. And then we've got another artist, so a collage based artist. Now, can I actually pronounce the name? Not sure. Injadika Aku Yili? I think so. So there's the images of the artist's work, annotation showing thoughts on it, and here we've got a transcription, so a bit bigger, so it's round the right way. Obviously I would have wished it to be a bigger transcription, really, less writing. And here a drawing based upon that as well. And then over here, final piece idea with this sort of torn paper and sort of trialing it out. Slightly strangely just in white paper, seeing a bit surprised seeing as that the other ones are using sort of recycled bits and bobs. And then we've got, I don't have the physical version of this, we've got a paper mache over a balloon that's being transformed into a fish, and some cut-out stars and moon paper mache'd. I don't have that here. And then we've got final piece photos of an apple, and I do have that here. That one. So it has got a bit squashed because it was put in a bag when it was wet. So a bit of an issue there. It shouldn't be flat like that. So if it had been dried, I think it would have had more of a chance to stay as a pear shape. So as a final piece though, it doesn't feel like it's like the climax of the project. It doesn't always work out that actually the final piece is the best part of the project, but I think that this student has maybe played it safe and they've kind of abandoned some ideas that would have been more ambitious. There's things that have happened earlier on, like the pressed flowers, the etching, which could have been combined with 3D. So I think that's a bit of an issue with the ambition of assessment objective 4, realising intentions. Right, so I'm going to move on to exam project. That way. So, aged, it says there. Oh, can't focus. I'm just going to stop and then try it again. There we go. It's come back on. So aged, not caged. So looking at abandoned buildings, moon stages and decayed fruit. So good range there of possibilities, nicely presented. Own photos. So we got some architecture, some kind of junk shop interiors, and some frost on ivy. So lovely range of subjects there, some gorgeous little drawings, really nice, very delicately done. So that's done with quite a bit of flair, I think. And then we've got an artist named Daniel Green. So I'm looking for the transcription there. So colour pencil, nice, should be bigger. What's all that empty space for? Let's get rid of that. Less of these cut out photos, because what marks can we give you for sticking in a photo? Not much. So assessment objective 1. This is assessment objective 1, visually analysing. So there seems to be, I would say, there's too much writing, not enough visual analysis going on here. So it's visual literacy we're doing, not written. So try and get that balance right. And obviously the writing does help because it's helping in assessment objective 3. But, you know, are we going to read it all? I don't know whether the moderator is going to have time when they're visiting the school for a day to check our marks. Possibly not. So better to write less and then ensure that they're going to read it. Lovely page. So what's this? Ian Murphy. So looking at architecture, and then there's a gorgeous drawing there. Look, it's bigger. It's bigger than the photocopies. Brilliant. And some quite detailed ones there. So a really successful page that. Love it. Assessment objective 1. Final piece ideas. So we've got like a little mind map, sort of revisiting. So here we've got like sort of paper flowers, a photograph of a bunch of roses, clay flower idea. And then we've got a little experiment working with clay. Now I was looking for this and it's actually tiny. So the photograph, sometimes you can make something look a lot bigger through a photograph. So anyway, it's photographed in process, how in the stage of it being made, which is a brilliant idea. Please do that. We've got over here, it has actually a bit worse for wear because it was very thin clay. That's what was photographed there. So sometimes you can actually make the piece look better through the photograph. So we can't help that if that happens, can we? If we're going to make it look even better, so be it. So what we got, idea 2, and working with wire and with tissue paper. So progress process being recorded. There we go. Development of final piece. So we're collecting petals, making wire petals, putting tissue paper with PVA glue over that. And I love all these work in progress shots. That's really good to do that. Do that if you're painting as well. And I think that is it. So we've got just an exam plan. We don't have a reflection on the final piece. So if I leave it on that page, and then here we've got the final piece. So it's in a glass there. There's 3 petals with the dried rose petals that have been placed on there. So quite meticulously. Different colourways for them. And so that would have been done in 10 hours. So it's nice, but is it ambitious enough? So for assessment objective 4, almost feel like you kind of like urge it to go that bit further, I suppose. You know, there was like some collaged elements that happened earlier, thinking about how, you know, we go with this idea to make more of it. You know, what else could be done? So, you know, there was a bit of clay, but maybe that wouldn't be thing. What about combining with architecture? You know, these gorgeous drawings. Maybe there was the idea of ivy growing up, you know, something like a tombstone, or, you know, you could have ivy growing up like some of this like cathedral window architecture. It could have been more ambitious. So I suppose that's, you know, this is why, although you might look at some of the drawing, you think, oh, this should be higher than grade level 5, but then it's got to be the whole package in a sense to kind of really get intentions realised on AO4. So there you go. Example of a level 5 GCSE art exam, this one here, and the coursework, the previous sketchbook.